All right. Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Okay, let's see if I can start this presentation. I want to try a new style today. Kalau boleh, side by side like this. Ah, okay, so this is it. And yeah, I have this. If I make this full screen, can you see my screen? And
Yes, can,
okay,
sir.
side by side, yeah. Okay, so there are two things we are going to do. Number one, I want to do a catch up on the budget topic, the CVP topic, which is the third one in our learning plan. That's one. And the other one, I want to do a bit of revision with you so that you are better prepared for your midterm exam. Midterm exam for me is always four questions, midterm and final, same. Four questions. Each question is 25 marks. For final exam, maybe I might give a choice. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, when I look at all the questions that I have. But for midterm exam, I prefer that there is no choice. So usually my midterm exams for all my subjects are four questions, 25 marks each, because there are four key areas of understanding, learning outcomes that we want to test. Yeah. So we want to see how that would work. Yeah. Um, Interesting. So if I do this now, and here I go. Um, Can you all see the full screen or can you see two screen? What do you see? Can you tell me what is it that you see here? Siti, apa
I
ya?
see
Two screen.
only yeah, budgeting forecasting this one.
This one, okay, and then you
Yeah.
see a picture. Can you see one more screen here? Do you see another screen? No?
No.
Okay, that's perfect then. Good.
Okay.
Um, and that's what I want. Um, okay, now I want to see this. Can you see my screen and my picture? Yes or no?
What? What,
Can
sir?
you still see my screen and my picture by the
Yeah.
side? Okay, good.
Uh,
Yes, sir.
yes, sir.
So now I change the slide. You can see the slide changed.
Yes, sir.
Good. Go, I'm testing this system now. So a bit different, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. This topic in your learning outcomes is called the CVP analysis. CVP analysis is actually important from a budgeting point of view. Now, budgets is a very important topic within management accounting, yeah, and finance. So what do we mean by good budgets? For this topic, I am not taking it so much from the books. I am taking it from my own professional practice. So you may see the Harvey Gill model and things like that, because I think that will be more useful to you. Budgets are not something that are very fixed by rules, and sometimes the textbooks on budgets, they are very American based or European based, which is not so applicable to maybe an African or Asian environment. Yeah. So I'm going to try to bring this home, and we are going to learn about the general rules about what good budgets are. So, uh, in the area of best practice, good budgets are those that are based on KPIs. What are KPIs? Can you tell me? What are KPIs? You
I
know,
don't.
KPI is a word which stands for key performance indicator. Key performance indicator. Yeah. So it is an indicator of the most important performance parts. Yeah, key performance indicator, KPI. Basically matlamat yang kita nak capai, yeah, KPIs. And the idea is that we want to tie them back to vision and mission. And we'll come back and talk about vision and mission again when we are doing further topics in our finance part. But this is basically it. When you do a budget, when you do a plan, it must be tied into your KPI, and it must be tied into the business environment. You remember we did an exercise on the business environment and we asked ourselves, hey, what will happen if 36 months forward, these things happen, yeah? And you all are also preparing a presentation for me. But this week, I want to focus more on preparing you for your midterm exams so that you look good in your university records, yeah? And then we will talk about your presentation next week, yeah? So two things. Number one, what are the standards that we want, yeah? What are the internal standards of the company, piayawan syarikat itu sendiri, KPIs, and number two, what is the business environment in which we work. So when you do your planning, you have to do planning based on your internal standards and the external environment. Yeah, basically, that's the message here. And I think you have seen this one. This is the business environment, yeah, where we take into account many different factors. Actually, this business environment can be taken at three levels. Yeah, the internal environment dalam sesuatu syarikat, yeah, within a company. Then the micro external environment. Micro external merupakan mereka yang we deal with all the time. So, for example, our customer is in micro external. Our competitor is in micro external. Our supplier is in the micro external. Our distributor is in micro external. So four things. Please note, if you're taking your notes down, what are the components of your micro external environment? Who are the players? Siapa yang ada dalam micro external environment sesuatu syarikat tu? Number one, your customer, most important, your customer. Number two, competitor, of course, sadly. Number three, your suppliers. And number four, your distributor. Yeah, your distributor. So we measure OT. What is OT, you think? We have mentioned this before. What's OT? Can you tell me, please? It's part of S. Sorry, yes, go ahead.
Objective of turnover.
No, it's part of SWOT. That's the clue. SWOT. So SW is strengths and weaknesses, which are internal. So when we do our strategic planning, when we do our budgeting, we ask ourselves, what are the opportunities and threat? Threat here means risk, really. Yeah. What are the opportunities? Peluang yang sedia ada dan risikonya. So what are the opportunities that we have out there and what is the risk related to them? First, we must work out this. Once we have worked this out, then we ask ourselves, in order to take advantage of these opportunities and threats, what are the strengths and weaknesses that we have in our company? So what are the things that we can do well? What are the things where there are gaps and we need to make it better so that we can improve our strategic capabilities, yeah? And then, of course, there is the broader environment. We call it the macro external environment. And macro external environment is often analyzed using PESTEL. What is the macro external environment comprising? It comprises P. What does P stand for? What kind of changes? What kind of developments? What do you think P stands for? Anyone? Okay, I start. P is political. Political matters, yeah, government issues, things like that, political. So what do you think is E?
Environment.
Sorry?
Environmental.
Environment, okay. Environmental. S? What kind of environment? S?
Social.
Very good. Social. So T?
Political.
T.
T.
Political.
P is political. What is T?
Oh, T for teacher. Okay.
T is technology. Technology. Yeah. You can see my screen, isn't it? You can see my little dot moving here.
Yes.
Okay, so there's one more E. We said political, environmental, social, technological, economic. E, the second E is economic. And then L is legal and regulatory. Legal and regulatory. So there are 3 levels of environment. Yeah. And if I was to put these 3 levels of environment, they would look something like this. Yeah. So let me put it here. Can you see my Excel worksheet?
Yes.
Good. Because I'm testing new presentation, so I need some feedback from you. Yeah. Okay. So how does the business environment work? 3 levels of business environment. Keep talking to me, yeah. We said the 3 levels are firstly internal level, isn't it? Yeah. Firstly, internal environment. And what does internal environment mean? Internal environment is basically the strengths and weaknesses of the business who deal with the environment. Now, what are the strengths? Why are we good in dealing with the environment? Why we are not good? Then number 2 is micro external environment, and then I told you the micro external environment comprises the word environment. Micro external environment comprises who? Comprises customers, comprises competitors.
Supplier.
Very good. Suppliers.
Distributor.
And distributors. That's right. Yeah, these are the guys who are in our micro external environment. And the micro external environment provides us, yeah, the micro external environment provides the business with opportunities and threats. Threats means risk, risiko. Yeah. So yeah, there are opportunities out there, but ada risiko juga. Yeah. There are risks as well. So thirdly, we say is the broader environment. We call this the inverted triangle. Yeah. Small at the center of the business, then become broader and broader and broader and broader. Yeah. And then we have the macro external environment. Yeah, macro external environment comprises we said political, yeah, political environment, political forces, if you like, or political environment, and then you said environmental issues. Yeah? We have to deal with planet and things like that, pollution dan sebagainya. Yeah, we have to deal with stuff like that. Environmental issues, and then pastel as social trends, then technology developments, and then economic factors. Is it a recession time? Is it a good time? Yeah, economic factors, and then finally legal and regulatory framework. Yeah. So this is the macro external environment. So when you talk about a business environment, there are three layers to it. The internal environment that the company is working with, the micro external environment, that means immediately outside the company is who? It's the customer, the competitor, the supplier, the distributor. And your main opportunities and threats come from here. Yeah. And you can also say opportunities and threats also come from the macro external, basically from outside all the external environment, yeah? Also come from the macro external environment. Okay, there you go. Get back to my slides. And we use the SWOT tool. I will come back and do another exercise with you on the SWOT tool. We determine the opportunities and threats first, link to the strengths and weaknesses, and create the impact and probability scores for next 36 months. Yeah. So when you come back after your midterm break, this is the thing that we will be looking at. So how do we organize our planning data? How do we do our budgets? Well, first of all, we need to find out what are the costs and things like that. Let me get back to my Excel worksheet. Yeah, let me get back here. How do we do this? Let me show you. Let me call this the budget cycle. Yeah, I will give you all these notes, yeah, at the end of our session today. The budget cycle. How does the budget cycle work? Well, first of all, first a business must plan for level of sales. Yeah, level of sales. That's the first one. Yeah. Then we need to ask the question, will capex be required? Will capital expenditure? Capital expenditure means buying the non-current assets. Non-current asset. Fixed asset. We have to buy more equipment? Do we have to buy more machinery? Will capital expenditure be required for fulfilling this budget? I'm in class. It's okay, I'll come back and look for it. Yeah, thank you. Then we need to ask the question, will capital expenditure, non-current asset, be required? Ya, jika jawapannya yes, if it is yes, yeah, if it is yes, not good. Here and here. If it is yes, then you prepare a capital budget. If the answer is no, yeah, if the answer is no, then you can move straight to your operational budgets. So let me just put this in here. Shapes, maybe this one. Is it required? Yes. Answer is no. Turn the other way. No. Make it longer a bit. No. Then you move straight into other budgets. But if the answer is yes, then and then you put this. Then we prepare a capital budget. Okay. Prepare a capital budget. Yeah, if the answer is yes, then you prepare a capital budget. But if the answer is no, then we prepare what we call operational budgets. Prepare operational budgets. This is how normally businesses should work. Yeah. So the first question that you need to ask yourself is, how much business are we going to do? Yeah. So we plan for sales. First of all, we plan for sales. That's what we plan for. Yeah. That's the main thing that we plan for. Sales. That should be your first budget. That in the last year we did so much business based on so much money we had, so much resources we had. But in the coming year, how much more business we can do? Which product do we want to push more? Which product we want to pull back? Which market we want to go to more? Which market we want to come out of? First, decide what business you want to do, how much business you want to do, where you want to do it. Then you ask yourself, if you are going to do this business, will you need to buy equipment or not? Will you need some machinery? Will you need some motor vehicles? Will you need capital expenditure? That's the meaning of the word capital expenditure. If the answer is yes, then you prepare a budget for capital expenditure. We call it a capital budget. And I'll teach you how to prepare capital budget, because you evaluate capital budgets using net present value, IRR, and so on and so forth. Here we will see how that is done. But if the answer is no, then you prepare operational budgets. Yeah. So operational budgets must be sensitized. Sensitized. That means we conduct sensitivity analysis. Yeah. One method of sensitivity analysis is leverage analysis. And I'm going to focus on leverage analysis today. Why? Because I have a question. Question number 1 in your midterm exam is leverage analysis. Yeah. Let me show you what is happening in your midterm exam. So question 1 will be on leverage analysis. Question 2 is theory, where you will talk about difference between fixed cost, variable cost, many internal costs and external costs, that kind of things. Management terms. I want you to go to web pages and look up these things here. If possible, you should go to Google Scholar and look up for the words, yeah, or look up the web page of universities. Yeah, you see something written from a good university. So those are the words you take and you put them separately in another file. Then you read that and then you write what you understand in your own words. Because if you don't do that, if you just copy paste, then you are not doing a BBA exam. Then you are actually preparing a scrapbook, and I don't want a scrapbook. Yeah, so please remember, for your exam, you will have to take this definitions from different parts. That's fine. You can do that. You can also look at the definitions from the reading materials that I supply to you. You can do that. That's perfectly all right. If you have a good book on managerial accounting, even an e-book, just go and download any good book or just read online any book. Yeah, that's the beauty nowadays. There's so much of material on the internet. It's like the world's biggest library. Yeah, so you just download a nice good ebook on management accounting and then you look for those terms and then you put those terms in your own words, and I will give you marks, more marks, if you explain the difference, for example, between fixed and variable costs, and then you give me example. Fixed costs, for example, rental payments are fixed costs, something like that. Variable costs, for example, using raw materials to make a product is a variable cost, something like that. Yeah. And then the third question is also theory. These two are theory. Role of management accounting, and what's the difference between financial accounting. There's an article from which I have taken out a paragraph and I ask you to comment on it. So I want to see how you think, how you argue, how you explain those things. Yeah. And then there's a costing report, fixed and variable costs. So what I will do is I will show you now how to work out leverage analysis. So this is computation, number crunching, and how to look at fixed and variable costs. Yeah. And we will work out 2 examples of this. And once we do that, I think you will be pretty all right, yeah, in being able to look at this thing, yeah. Okay, I will need to take a 5 minutes break and then I will see you, yeah. Is that okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Fine.
so